Hello and welcome to Zero Energy Building. I'm Brendan Levitt, and you should have by now had your first class with me, and this is your first video tutorial. We'll be posting these throughout the semester to help you out with the assignments. So in this first one, we're just going to go over real quickly how to document your power monitoring. And the first thing you need to do is to go over to the Drive folder, and this is in the folder where you put your assignment submission already for your documentation. If you go up a level to the main folder, I'm going to be posting your assignments in this folder throughout the semester. So the documentation folder contains your documentation assignment, which you already finished. So now let's move on to the second assignment, your initial energy model. And for this tutorial, you're going to want to download this initial energy model template, which is an Excel file. I've also included in here the assignment itself, as well as the help manual for the plug load meter, in case you are having trouble working that. So let's go to the initial energy model. You can download this and open up the template. And for the first assignment that I'd like you to bring in on Thursday, this should be a relatively quick one, and you're just going to use this first tab that's on the bottom here of Excel. And you'll notice there's some other tabs here. These are for Tuesday's assignment, and I'll go over that in the next video. So for this one, and actually I'm going to give you a little background on Excel in general here. The way I've worked this is that throughout the semester I'm going to be giving you a few different templates, and these template files are going to be organized in similar ways. First thing, the red text is instructions always, and I want you to be careful to read the instructions. I'm trying to do my best to kind of walk you through the assignment. The second thing is these highlighted cells. You see there's a yellow highlighted cell here, there's some more yellow ones here. The yellow highlighted cells are cells that there's information for you to fill out. So for instance, where it says author, I'd like you to write your name. I'll write my name here, if I could spell it right. And location. In this case, it's the location of my monitoring, so I'm going to write my apartment at Alice Street in Oakland, California. And then you also notice, and so there's yellow highlighted text here, which I'll get to in a second. There's also some green highlighted cells. And these green highlighted cells signal that there's something automated in the spreadsheet that I've already filled in for you. In this case, there's a formula, and that formula is populated right here. You can see the formula up here at the top, and if you click, you can see the cells that it references. So in this case, it's referencing this cell, and then it divides by 1,000, and I'll explain that when we get to it. So let me walk you through this. Before I do that, actually, there's also some graphs here at the bottom which will populate as we enter values. So for instance, let's scroll down here. The power the power use of your computer, your initial watts that you get when you plug in your meter, you should enter here. My computer is currently using 90 watts, so I'm going to put that in, and you can see that 90 watts jumps up in the graph below. Here my refrigerator is using 40 watts currently. And then for your choice is your choice of appliance or electrical device that plugs into the wall. I've chosen to look at my cell phone, so I'm going to write cell phone here. And it's using 3 watts right now when I initially plugged it in. Then fast forward a minute later, I'm going to look up at my power meter, and my computer is now using 100 watts, can see that that 100-watt line came into the graph. My refrigerator is now using 70 watts, and my cell phone is still using 3 watts. And then finally, fast forward again to the end of my power usage. My computer is using 100 watts still. My refrigerator is using 400 watts. And notice all these just changed to adjust to that scale. And then my cell phone still using 3 watts. So that's, you can see all those results right there. The energy use after 60 minutes, you should check your power meter and see what it says. For my computer, it said that it used 100 watt hours, which makes sense since it was primarily using 100 watts, and this is 60 minutes over the course of an hour, so 100 watt hours. My refrigerator was using 80 watt hours, and my cell phone was using 3 watt hours. Then for annual use in hours, you should estimate how many hours you think you use these things over the course of a year. So my computer, I use about 4 hours a day. I use it almost every day, but sometimes I go on vacation and things like that. So I'm going to type a quick formula just to show you how this works. It's very easy to use formulas for math in Excel. The way to do it is to press equals. That will give you a that signals to Excel that it's a formula. And then I'm going to type in 4 hours times 300 days. That accounts for 65 days that I don't use my computer a year. And then when I press enter, it's going to input 1200, which is 400 times 300. And then it's also, the formula is going to populate here, and that formula is the energy over 1 hour times my annual hours divided by 1,000, because this unit is in kilowatt hours, but this is in watt hours. So I'm dividing by 1,000 to divide to get kilowatt hours. So my total energy use for my computer over the course of the year is 120 kilowatt hours. Similarly for my refrigerator, that's on all the time, never goes off, so I'm going to say that's on 24 hours a day times 365 days, and so that's 8760 hours and 700 kilowatt hours. And my cell phone, I charge about 10 hours a day for 365 days, and that comes out to 3,650 hours and only 11 kilowatt hours total. And so you can see these results down here. This is the power graph on the left, and this is the energy in the middle. And then finally, for cost, go to your utility bill. And in this case, I'd like you to use your utility bill for the place where your documentation for your building is. I know you're measuring everybody's measuring this stuff in Berkeley now, but I'd like you to look at your utility bill and then report here what the cost of electricity is in for your case study building in US dollars per kilowatt hour. So you might have to do some conversion there to get it to that. And in this case, where I am in Oakland, I know that I pay 16 cents a kilowatt hour, so I might just type in 0.16 there. And this is actually automatically populating these two cells. You can see this cell, when I click on it, click up there, it says equal to I13. So if I look down I and 13, that's that. And then this cell says it's also equal to I13. So it's going to automatically populate. And then the annual energy cost is just the annual energy use times the electricity unit cost to get that annual cost. So my refrigerator costs about $110 a year to use, my computer $20, and my cell phone about $2, just in terms of energy. And that's going to be automatically populated down here as well, so you can compare the cost and understand a little bit how that relates to energy and power. The last thing to do here is to customize these graphs with your name. So to do that, click on the graph, and then you can double click on your name, type your name, and then the annual energy cost right where you're from, or where your case study building is from. In this case it's Oakland, and it's 16 cents a kilowatt hour, so that these are customized. And actually, for your location, I just realized it's better if you don't write down where you are now. Write down where your case study building is. So that should be Oakland for me, since that's where my case study building is. And then you're done. So you can print this, print it on 8.5 by 11. Though the best way to print it is to go to File, and then save as Adobe PDF or print. I guess let's just print for now. And you can print this just like this to a PDF, or you can print it to a printer if you're in the lab, or both. One thing to note, before you print this out, I'd appreciate it so that I don't always have to look at all this terrible yellow and green. If you could make these cells white again. And the way to fix that is to go to Home and select them all, go to the Fill button here, and say No Fill. And then I won't drive myself crazy looking at yellow and green fill patterns all the time. So again, print that out, and I'm going to save it to my desktop in this case. There it is. And once that's done, rename the file with your name and underscore 02a power monitoring. Monitoring. And print that out, bring it to class, and then also upload it to our assignment submissions folder. So here we are back in Google Drive. Go to assignment submissions, 02 initial energy model, and drag it, and there it is. And I'll take a look at these, and we can discuss them in class. So good luck with that, and move on to tutorial 2. I will talk about how to go about starting your initial energy model.